Welcome, everyone. My name is Julie Menders. I'm the Adult Programming Coordinator at Otis Library. I'm here with Pam Days-Luketich from Liberty Bank, and this is our fourth installment of the Journey to Financial Wellbeing. This session, Pam is going to talk with us about the very important subject of building credit, and I think she's going to be able to teach us all some new information. So I'm going to hand it over to Pam.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Julie. Looking forward to this next session. Just checking in to make sure everyone did their homework and is working on their goals and their budget from the last session. So, today we're going to talk about the importance of credit, and credit really impacts a lot of areas of our life. So we're going to try to cover, just start out with the basics and talk on building your credit and what is in a credit report. And then our next session, session 5, is going to be on credit scores. So credit, just the basics, is the ability to borrow money with understanding you'll repay it later. So positive credit really helps you reach your goals because the better your credit, the lower your interest rate will be. So the lower it will cost you to borrow money, and it will reduce the barriers that you may face to housing or employment. Believe it or not, if you're trying to get a job, your employer may check your credit because your credit is a good indication of how reliable you are. And if you are, say, you're going to pay something back and you do, it shows that you are good character. So your credit history can impact your access to credit. It impacts if you get a loan or not, your jobs, like I just said. It can impact your housing. So you may say, well, I don't want to buy a house, so it doesn't matter to me. But even your landlord can look at your credit history before approving or declining an application to rent an apartment. So it's very important for even insurance because your insurance rates are a lot of times based on your credit history. Insurance is there is a risk for an insurance company to insure you. So if they look at your credit history and it's spotless, then you're less of a risk to them than somebody who owes a lot of people money. So it's very important, even when you go to get your cell phone. How many of you have gone to get a new cell phone and they check your credit to make sure that you're paying your bills on time, and then they'll let you get a cell phone plan? So, really, if you think about it for a minute, just think of all the different times your credit has been checked over the course of the last couple of years. So it's very, very important to check your credit report, and that will tell you a little bit of how things stand with you. It is different. It's important to remember your credit report is different from your credit score. And everyone is entitled to a free credit report from each of the 3 credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. We always advise that you go to annualcreditreport.com to look and get your free credit report. And when you go on there, they'll ask you which credit bureau you would like to use. For starting, you could just pick one and use that, and then maybe go back in a few months and choose the other companies. They all talk to each other, so a lot of the information is the same on all of them. Occasionally, you'll see a few differences. But your credit report, it's important for you to look at because it will tell you a few things. One, you may go to pull it and it will say no credit information found. That just means you're just starting out and you have no credit history yet. And that's an indication to you that, oh, I have to start building my credit. The other thing it might show you is if somebody else has been using your credit. And we see that happening a lot of times when you hear there's been a breach with a different agency. Maybe if you recall, a couple years back was the IRS breach, and some your social security numbers got released. And so if somebody got a hold of that, they could have been using your credit to purchase other things. So when you get your free credit report, you just want to check it very closely The first section of your credit report has all your identifying information. It will say your address, your previous address, where you work, lots of things about you. You want to look, even your name, make sure it really is your full name. If there's a middle name in there that's not yours, that's something you want to make note of, because maybe somebody else in your family who has a similar name to you, their information may be showing up on your report. Also, it will show next all of your obligations that you've made. So if you have a credit card, it will show up there. It will show when you first opened that credit card. And if you've made all of your payments on time, it'll show that will show up. If you've had some late payments, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, that will show up on your report. So you want to look and make sure all the different loans or bills that are listed there are things that you actually had. So, for example, if it showed you had a loan for a motorcycle, you've never owned a motorcycle, then that could be a problem. It could be someone in your family who owns one, their loan showed up on your report, or someone who used your credit information to purchase that motorcycle. So, all of these things, if you see that are not yours, make note of. Public record information. A lot of people don't realize this will show up on here. So if you owe back taxes, it will show up on your credit report. A lot of times we'll have someone wanting to get a loan, and they'll have paid all their bills on time, but they owed taxes that they weren't paying, and it showed up on their credit report, lowering their credit score and now making them not able to qualify for the loan. So it's really important to check that section and make sure there's nothing you missed, that you are up to date on all your state, your federal, and your local taxes. Also on there will show up if you went to small claims court. So maybe when you were in college, there was some damage done to the apartment that you were renting. The landlord took you to small claims court and you lost and had to pay the $500 to replace the curtains. A lot of times that information could stay on your credit report until you go to that town hall and show them proof of payment, and then they'll release it. So you just want to make sure all your debts are cleared. Another thing to remember is things stay on your credit report for 10 years, up to 10 years, between 7 and 10. So if you missed a couple payments one year, they're still going to show up. Of course, over time, as you continue to make steady, consistent payments, that will all improve. But the things from the past still show up on there for 7 to 10 years. The last thing it shows is applications for new credit or inquiries. So if you go and apply for a lot of credit cards and loans all at once, that all shows up on your credit report, all the different people you applied for credit with. If you check your own credit report, a lot of people are nervous about this. It will not hurt your credit at all. It will show up that it was checked by you, but it will not impact your credit at all. It's only if you're applying for new credit that it shows up on there. And if you do that too many times, can lower your credit score. So for those of you who maybe fall in the category of no credit history, or those of you who want to really build or improve on your credit, here are a few things that you can do. The number one thing that you can do to build your credit and make your credit better is by paying every loan and bill on time. Even if it's a credit card and you can't afford to pay the whole credit card in full, if you can make the minimum monthly payment, your credit will not will be building. So making sure that you are paying and on the due date. A lot of people say, oh, it's okay if I wait 3 months and pay that. I'm going to pay it. I'm just a little short right now. Those 3 months that you waited will have a negative impact on your credit. So make every effort to be on time. A trick to doing that a lot of times is doing auto pay, whether through your online banking, you can set up to have your bills paid automatically every month out of your checking account, or through the individual companies, you can set your bill to pay auto pay coming out of your bank account. Unsecured credit cards or credit builder loans are good ways to build your credit. So if you don't qualify for a credit card because you have no credit history, or maybe you have some bad credit, you can get a credit builder loan. That is a secured loan. So that means there's some money put in a savings account, a loan is put on that account. And as you make the payments back to the bank, it helps to build your credit. An unsecured card is a regular credit card that you would just apply for. If you get declined for that, you can always get a secured card, which means you would give the credit card company $500 to hold in a savings account. They would give you a credit card with a $500 limit. You can use it, pay it back. It shows that you're making good on-time payments until that you're ready and built your credit enough to get a secured unsecured credit card. Another way to build your credit is to keep low balances on your card. In our next session, when we talk about credit score, we're going to talk about how this has a really big impact on your credit score. Avoid getting too close to your credit limits. I know you may say, well, they gave me a limit of 5,000, but try not to use that whole 5,000 unless you had a really emergency situation. Trying to just use a smaller amount of your credit limit will really help to build your credit. If you correct any errors on your credit report, very important, and you will be surprised to see how quickly your credit score will go up once you correct those errors, especially if it's something that you had no part in. It was just an error on the credit bureau. If you do owe past debt, finding a way to work to pay down that balance is very helpful. And it can be daunting and confusing what to do or the best way to do it. But just remember, there are a lot of nonprofit agencies out there or approved HUD credit counselors that will work with you for free to help you handle your debt and pay it down. So beware of people who are going to charge you a lot of money to do that. Look into the approved free credit counselors. And then considering what different kinds of credit you have. So if you have a credit card, that's one way to build your credit. But if you mix it up a little bit and get an installment loan, an example of an installment loan would be a student loan, a car loan, anything where you're making the same monthly payment every month. Okay, so I talked about a lot of things and I talked fast. So just if everybody just takes a minute and thinks about things, your homework is going to be to print your free credit report. And remember, we said you could go to annualcreditreport.com. You can either print it out or look at it on your computer screen, whichever is best for you, and look and make sure and check for any errors. Anything that's wrong, make note of it. When you get your free credit report, it will tell you right on there what to do if you see something that's incorrect and how to follow the steps to take to follow up on that. So you want to follow those steps and report it to the credit bureau and report it to the other two credit bureaus, depending which one you picked, and let them know. And then they will investigate and get back to you within 90 days of to tell you, that they're going to make the corrections or if they need more information or documentation from you. And then the next thing you're going to do once you look at your credit report, it might be great. You may have no errors on there. You may have just the right amount of debt. So maybe you don't have to do anything, just stay consistent. But for those of you who need to build your credit or want to build your credit score, write down a plan of how you're going to do that. Are you going to get a credit builder loan? Are you going to make sure, set up an auto pay so that all your bills get paid on time every time? Are you going to work on reducing some of your credit card debt? What are the strategies you're going to use? So write all those down and have them in your mind. And we will talk more about that when we meet on session 5 to talk about credit score.
Thank you, Pam. That was so interesting and so important. And I think that the next session, too, is going to tie together really nicely with this. So we appreciate your expertise. Before we close out, I do want to recommend a book because we do try to do that each time we have a session here. So this one is a classic. It was actually published over 25 years ago originally, but it's called Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez. This is a classic and it has been reissued, republished several times. We have the latest copy here on our shelves at Otis Library. 9 Steps to Transforming Your Relationship with Money and Achieving Financial Independence. And this book, chapter by chapter, talks a lot about the subjects that Pam has been talking about. So we do recommend this classic. So thank you, Pam. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And remember, we have so many great resources, free resources here at Otis Library. If you're working on your budget or working to save money, remember that the library is one of the best ways you can save money because you walk in the door with your library card and virtually everything is free. So
Great.
thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time.